about who is expanding learning time, the majority of ELT initiatives that I've identified in this report expand time for the elementary and middle school grades. So significantly fewer schools have ELT at the high school level. Of the school-based efforts identified that add time for high schools, all of them are charter schools except for two, and these charter schools also serve middle school students and sometimes elementary school students. None of the district-based initiatives that I looked at expand time for high school students. Rather, they focus on the earlier grades. The fourth conclusion I'd like to discuss is that expanded learning time does not have to be legislated. As evidenced in this report, schools and districts with strong leadership can and do take it upon themselves to design and implement initiatives. However, the passage of legislation would facilitate high-quality expanded learning time programs and make things much easier from a financial, planning, implementation, and evaluation perspectives. I think that what we see when we look at expanded learning time initiatives represents the reality of education in America today. The existing school calendar, which is 6.5 hours long and 180 days long, is insufficient for 21st century learning. Schools, students, and districts do want to excel. School improvement strategies are increasingly becoming bolder and more comprehensive. School districts are embracing new and school-wide reform strategies. And finally, ELT is gaining momentum across the U.S.
All told then, what's the price tag we're thinking about here? Given that most districts aren't going to go with hiring a whole new set of staff, and what they're probably going to do is some combination of the above costs, what we're thinking about is somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 16% additional spending on top of your school budget. Now, that's an important thing to note here. 30% more time is not 30% more spending. It's half of that. 30% more time is between 6 and 16% more increased spending. So compared to a lot of reforms, that's sort of a good deal. Then the other thing to think about is shifting resources from other investments. So we spend a lot of money on things during the school day besides just sort of bare bones. And one of those is class size reduction. We have a lot of specialists, reading specialists, literacy coaches, all those kinds of things. And then we have a lot of elective offerings, which I just talked about a minute ago. And you could take funds that are in those investments and put them instead into expanded learning time. So if you were to raise class size by 3 students, that would free up about 8% of a school's funds.
In the beginning, and this is not a long story, but we at Grove Patterson Academy, we came to life because the administration, the teachers' unions and administrative unions needed a way to try and fight the competitors out there. We needed to make ourselves more marketable for the students of tomorrow and offer more. We had Edison Project moving into Toledo and other chartered schools, and so they created Grove Patterson Academy. They worked collaboratively together, and all of the unions agreed and put us together. All of the teachers had talked about if they wanted to go to a school with a longer work day and different programs and formats, and they were interviewed to go there. I, too, was interviewed and chosen to go to Grove Patterson Academy. We created a lot of history with that kind of a program. We made a lot of differences. We were different by design. It's the way of life. Our children learn to be living daily, 8 hours a day, sometimes longer than they see their own families, with children who are of different religious background, color, country, and they know how to be with each other. Before you know it, they're going home to different homes with each other and visiting in different cultures and learning to know each other, preparing our students far better for the world as it is. So not only is it a longer day, but it's an adhesive kind of day. It brings everyone together as a family. We do often get many of the family members into the school, so oftentimes we'll have 4 and 5 in the school from one family. Our special ed students also have achieved quite highly. They've reached higher expectations than we've had for them on their IEPs, which means they're definitely working higher than their expectations to accommodate that. We no longer do any of the alternate assessments because of that. We wish to try to give our students every chance possible. We do tutor the students and we work with them. But the fact that everyone has risen to this level of wanting to be there, there's no other thought there but the children and preparing them for the world tomorrow.
I think something that really came out in terms of reading Elena's paper is that it's not just about adding more time, but looking at how we use time. So in and of itself, just adding time is not really the objective, but really trying to maximize what we're doing during the school day. And having this initiative in a school can really help bring the momentum, but also the political will to say, well, is the way we've been doing it for decades really the way that we should continue to do it? I think the other thing that really came home to me in reading the papers is that it's not just that expanded learning opportunities is not the reform in itself. I think it is the tool by which we execute other reforms.